Good morning, good afternoon, be penny at folks. It's man on the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female. About to be talking to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I want to say thank y'all because just about a day ago, my channel hit 6,000 followers. 6,000. I've been doing this for a little over, almost 6 years. And I really appreciate y'all supporting my channel, supporting my content. I'm gonna make an announcement because we have a Muscle Talk Monday podcast. I'm gonna make an announcement. I'm planning to go to a show, and this is gonna be a 300 episode of Muscle Talk Monday. It's actually more episodes because I didn't put the right numbers in right. And but it's 300. I probably did more than 300, but it's gonna be officially. It's gonna be 300 that you know. So I'm gonna let you know where I'm going and my plans for my upcoming travel season. And also, I appreciate y'all people for supporting me, the men and the women, the ladies in the sport, the guys who are fans for following my content and getting me to that stratosphere. It wasn't barely 3 months when I turned to 5,000. Now 6,000. That means I'm doing good work. So, anyway, folks, we have a lovely lady. She was recommended to you by a lady I interviewed a while back, the lovely Mrs. Terry Ivy. Miss Ivy is this weekend competing in Pittsburgh at the Team Collegiate, which is the Masters Nationals. Hoping to get a pro card. We wish her the best for lovely Mrs. Terry. And we have here her lovely dear friend, new IFBB Figure Pro. And as you know, I like these new fresh pros. Freshly with a line. I feel like, you ever saw the Boondocks? I feel like the guy, the Booty Warrior, said, I like you and I want you. We need the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours. But I'll be pull that back a little bit. We have the lovely Mrs. Hollie Joe Hines. And she turned pro last month at the Junior Nationals in Tennessee. So we're going to talk to her about experiences in bodybuilding, her plans in the future, and just what got her started in sport. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm super
No,
excited. First
okay.
interview.
I, I'm your first. Take
Yes.
that, David. That's my man David from If You're About For Him. I'm her first. You know how guys feel like we get out. Yeah. So okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Hollie, what got you started in sport? As I call it, muscle and masculinity. Please share.
Well, so a little background about me. I played college softball, like at UNA. It's a college in Florence, Alabama. So I grew up very athletic from high school. I was the girl that played, every sport. I would play basketball, then change it to my cheerleading uniform, then go cheer on for the guys. I ran track. I did everything. I loved sports. Like I said, I was very athletic. So getting out of high school, playing college ball, I've kind of always worked out. Um, Now it's totally different from bodybuilding, working out. That's more, you know, I would say it's more of a grind when you're working out for a show for bodybuilding because it's just different. You have to go in and hit different muscle groups that you probably wouldn't hit, training in general, like just for athletics. Um, so different style, like progressive overload training than just going in doing hit style workouts and stuff. So, um, yeah, so I did that. And then after college, um, my fiance and I have a gym, Gator Fitness. We actually had two at one time. We sold the Sheffield location, so we still have one in Florence, Alabama. The other one was in Sheffield, Alabama. So he is a professional bodybuilder, Gator Gates, and he actually is competing at Tampa. He competes every year at Tampa, the pro men's bodybuilding. So we'll be heading to Tampa here in a little bit, but so he inspired me to get into bodybuilding. It was a funny story. I said I would never do it, and I end up doing it, and then I end up enjoying it. It's the journey. I think seeing like where you start, like overcoming like obstacles in life and seeing your body change, and it's incredible, really. Not knowing you can go somewhere and you get there, but so us having a gym, me being in the gym all day, I was like, well, might as well do a show, so I started training for a show. In 2021 was my first show, so I'm still very new at this sport. I did the Alabama championship, which was in Gadsden, Alabama. And another surprising adventure that we're doing, we actually just took over. We're now promoters of the NPC Alabama bodybuilding show. So my fiance is Mr. Alabama. He won in 2008, and I won Miss Alabama in 21. So together, we're going to promote our show, which is in 5 weeks in Huntsville, Alabama. So we're new promoters. So a very busy life. But so he got me into competing, and I fell in love with it. I think just the grind of getting up every day, eating your meals, the training, the cardio. Like I said, seeing your body just transform into something you thought you could never, see, I guess, like it's incredible. So yeah, I would have to say Gator. We call him Gator. My fiance, he's the one that really got me into the sport. So yeah. But I would say
good.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, that's
I'm sorry.
good. Go ahead, take your time.
But yeah, he loves it, like, and I watched him kind of do it all the year, throughout the years, and I was like, he's like, you might as well try it, and I did. So here we are. So I did the 21 Alabama State Championship, and I won that one in the overall figure, and then I took a year off and then went to NPC Nationals, which was in Orlando at the time. It's the Nationals, like in December or November, December, towards the end of the year. So I did that. It was my second show, and I got fourth. Top 2 get pro cards there. It's a really big show. And so after that, everything just happened so fast for me. I know I still needed to grow a lot. I'm 5'8". I have a really big frame to fill out. So I took 3 years off from 2022 and came back to Tampa Amateur last year because Gator competed in the pro show. So we just went together and ended up winning the overall there in the amateur division, and had another really good off season, probably my best off season to date, with my coach, Dave Palumbo. I've been with him since Tampa. Tampa last year was my first show with him. And then we had a great off season together, and we did Junior Nats, which was my 4th show, and I ended up turning pro. So it's been a journey.
Well, I would say, this is a sport where it takes time. Some people can hit out of the ballpark, as the baseball term, the first time, and some people it takes time. I was at Tampa that year. My friends, Jolene and Eunice, they run Bad Rap. They were there. Eunice competed at the show. Jolene was there. I was helping out with the booth. That's one of the ladies who competed at the show. She did the overall women's bodybuilding, and she got a pro card at North American to Keo. And it was a great opportunity to be there. I might have maybe saw you if I don't know if you saw me.
You looked, whenever I seen the interview with you and Terry, I was like, I've seen him. I know, like, somewhere. And I bet it was Tampa, because we usually go every year to Tampa because he enjoys doing that show. I love Tim Gardner's shows. They're awesome.
Yeah, that was me. I was hugging up on Ashley Jones like a big old bear. I got to meet Sharonica Hinton at the show. She's an amazing lady. She follows on social media. Also, the highlight for me, being a poor country boy and never, I've been to Florida, a couple of times at Disney World, consistently. But when I got to meet, he was there because he was there for the show. But I got to meet this gentleman here, David Lee Roth. He came by our booth, and I mean, it was wow. I mean, it was, just unbelievable. I would never met that man in my life, sitting here at home. But it was a great opportunity to go there, help my friend, and to check out the show. So, one thing about being in the sport, what really attracts you? Like, what made you maybe decide to jump into it? Like, not just for your boyfriend, was it for yourself also?
Yes. I love, like, to me, for a woman, like I think muscle on a woman is so sexy. And, I'm thinking, I mean, you're in a dress, muscle just makes everything look better, So um, I just love the aesthetic part of it, just like I said, just the definition, the muscle definition, um, just feeling like, powerful too. When I always say this too, when you're close to a show and you're like in the best shape of your life, it's like you just feel like on top of the world, like, Wonder Woman. So, um, I actually followed, like growing up, the Corey Everson days, which I loved her physique because we're about the same height. And she was like 160 on stage. And that was that, I guess back in the 80s, was it? Or
80s, compared to 80s, yeah, because that's where she competed from the mid 80s up to the almost to 90.
Yeah. I love her physique. Kind of watched, um, just, scrolled over some videos of her competing and is very inspirational too. Um, it's come a long way, hasn't it? Like a lot of things have changed. But yeah, and then Iris Kyle, when she was competing, um, there's a lot of women that I used to follow that just kind of inspired me too, to get into the sport.
Yeah, that's amazing, ladies. Iris Kyle, Linda Murray, Corey
Yes,
Everson.
there's
One lady
so
who
many great ones.
yeah, one lady I got to meet a few years ago while I was in Savannah. That was my first Bobby show. Was Anita Popa. She had a beautiful physique, a great look to her. She's been a Rise Phoenix champion. She's been close to the Miss Olympia title, but that
Yes.
old saying, hit or miss, no, But yeah, I think really something different if you look at it, especially like we're from the South, and
Oh
the
yeah.
idea of women with muscles very not as
Accepted.
acceptable
Yes.
compared to other places, but still, it is something beautiful about it because it's like a form of art when you take your body and you're like you're your own artist. You're either
Hmm.
using paint brushes and paints, or you're using a chisel and a hammer. Building out granite. It just can be a beautiful thing. We got here some guests here. Shout out to my man Black Panther. He says this. He says, "Hi George. This is Black Panther, aka Ted." Or he says it, Ted a link. He says. Also, I got to put on my glasses every now and then. Also, he says this. He says, "Beautiful smile, Miss Hollie." And also, he says this. He says, "Miss Hollie, where are you originally from?"
So I am a Southern girl. I am from Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Sweet home Alabama. I got here a Southern lady here, folks.
Yes, very. I grew up, small town, very country. Um, I love it. I wouldn't change anything about it. So, yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in a very small town. We one of those towns when we have one stoplight, and there's like maybe a couple of gas stations. We do have a Family Dollar and a Dollar General, but if you want to go
Yes.
someplace like outside, you have to go the next town over. We lived out in the country for a long time, so we
Right.
moved into town. So anyway, for yourself, what's the experience like? As you said earlier, the sport has changed. Because I remember if you go back to the Corey Eversons and Linda Murray, it has evolved. And you say you follow some of the ladies. Who in particular, other than currently we pay attention to, especially in your division?
So I love Missy Trescott. She was actually someone I had been following before I started competing. And it's funny because I have several people that tell me that we kind of favor a little bit. And I'm like, that's a huge compliment to me because she's amazing. But I would say like her, I follow her. And there's a girl that I've actually been following. She turned pro at USA. She's a women's bodybuilder. And I love it because these ladies are so feminine too, that they keep their feminine, they're real feminine and they have muscle and it's just very pleasing to look at. Um,
Rania.
yes, love her physique.
She's going back to Tampa.
Yes, so we'll see her at Tampa. She was there, I think, last year. She
Hmm.
competed right after USA's. So I'm excited to see her. I love her physique. And like I said, they keep the feminine side too. It's really amazing how, you know, it's like I said, it's real pleasant to look at.
Yeah. I would say there's some amazing ladies in sport who I follow, particularly one's my very favorite. That is, yeah, I call her, she's my
Yes.
girlfriend, and that is Andrea
I love
Shaw.
her too. I love her.
I mean, she just
She's
beautiful from
beautiful.
just. I mean, I actually when I went to my first show in Savannah back in 2022, she was there guest posing, and I got a friend. His name is Big Keith Williams. He knows your coach, Jumbo Palumbo. Back in the day, used to work together. Yeah, I know Dave's nickname, and he told me she was competing. She was just doing guest posing at Savannah, and even though she wasn't as conditioned she was still looking good. And George said, he told me that George, when Andrea's on, she's on. It was just barely maybe 3 weeks before the Rising Phoenix. And when she came in, that show, she looked amazing. I want to say this. I want to always give a shout out to my dear friend, JoJo and Eunice at Bad Rap. And always want to shout out to Eunice because a while back, this was like about a couple of years ago. It was just a little bit after my birthday. And I get a call from Eunice. Said, George, I'm seeing something in the mail. I said, what you sending me? He said, you see it. I said, what is it? And it's this. It's your muscle
Wow.
development. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
what, because she ran into Andrea that year when we were still in Orlando. And
Yes.
what makes so special is this, that she signed it.
She's awesome.
She
I
is.
love her and Sid Gillian. That's another
Yes.
girl I love. They're Southern from well, Sid. I think it's Andrea
She's
from.
from Georgia.
Yes, yes.
And Andrea's from Michigan.
Okay, okay. I was thinking she was also from Georgia, but
Nah, she's from
um,
Michigan.
we ran into them in Ohio. We were going to a restaurant. Went to the Arnold, and it was her and Sid, and she is just. I mean, she's really a great ambassador for the sport. Like, just amazing, awesome personality, sweet as pie. You know, like she's great, beautiful. Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, yeah.
They have a
They
show
both
together.
party.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is, it goes back to that women with muscle can be beautiful. Yes, they're gonna be a few here and there that might look a little bit under rough, but they're still beautiful in their own right. So
right.
so now when did you and Gator meet? And how did the business start up?
Well, he actually has a car business, and he's been in the car business for, I mean, probably close to 30 years, 20 something years. But his car business is in Madison, Alabama. And then the gym we opened that one in back in 2017. It was the Sheffield location before we end up selling that location and just having Florence. So I actually worked for him at the gym. That's how we met. So, and he's into fitness, and so like that's a huge part of his life. So I would say we've been together almost 7 years. It's been crazy. Time flies. But yeah, I would say we met through fitness. But like I said, he's got a car business that's full time, and then we had two gyms at one time. So we were just he works all the time. Me too, though. We stay really busy. And you have multiple businesses, and now taking on the NPC Alabama Open Championships that we're promoting. August 22nd, it's at the Westin in Huntsville, Alabama. So now that's another adventure too. So yeah, it's busy, busy. Fitness is a huge part of both of our lives. Like it's just, yeah, when you have a gym, especially, like you're always into fitness. So
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the reward you get out of it. You met your man, the man of
yeah,
your life, and you also found a new passion through fitness, and also now you are officially an IFBB pro. I mean, I've known quite a few couples in this sport. I've interviewed them, and they really love what they do because people outside look at bodybuilding. It's this very strange sport. It's
mhm,
very a fringe sport. It's not as popular. Like I saw one guy posted where he talked about how they, I think adding men's bodybuilding to the Tampa Bay this year, and talked about the prices between first place for men between cornhole, if
mhm.
and it's crazy where you can throw a beanbag to a hole and get $10,000, where these guys are training, working out, competing, all involved with it. But I think the
Right.
problem is because it's such an outside sport, and always the issue about it is because they use the performance enhancers, be it steroids, be it PEDs. People always look about it because that's just it. Like you just take
Yeah.
some magic pill and you can be as like I get as big as Arnold or as big as Luke Ferrigno, and but it's more to that. It's
Absolutely. And I think that can give it a bad rap too. Like, you know, I think the performance enhancement drugs, that part of it, like for bodybuilding, I think people would just think, like you said, you take a magic pill and you're, walking around with tons of muscle and, shredded to the bone. But, you still have to eat your meals and you still have to train and do your cardio, so um yeah, I wish it wouldn't get that kind of rap sometimes, but it does, like especially if you're from the South, like we were talking about earlier. A lot of people don't accept it, or it's hard for them to accept it. You know, you go to the grocery store, you don't really see. It's not common to see a lot of muscular women. So if you have muscle, they'll stare at you like you're crazy or for an alien from another planet. So, you know,
Yes. The thing about sport is it's learning to be comfortable with being uncomfortable because the extreme of it. But again, it goes back to if you don't follow the diet, you don't consistent, if you're not determined, you're not disciplined, you can take
mhm,
all the shit you can take, but you're not gonna look like some of the ladies in the sport, some of the men in the sport. You can just be a big fat dumpy, men like me and just be on peds. So we have a comment. Shout out to my man, Black Panther. He says this. Give me a second. It says, Miss Holly, you are the greatest figure champion. Wow.
oh, thank
Also, we got
you.
here to sip these on because for my man here, Paul. Has he well, Paul? He says, congratulations on your getting your pro card and going to be great. And
Thank you.
also, shout out to my man. He says, beautiful picture of you and Ashley Lynette Jones. And Ashley Lynette Jones is the greatest. Yeah, I'm a fan of Ashley. She even shouted me out right after she got her second place at the Olympia. Shout out to my little nephew Alex. Well, I met him at Tampa. He's a nice kid. He went to Olympia. He ran into Ashley, and she shot me out. I appreciate that. So, there was quite a few shows for a possibility qualification. Why did you do
Mhm.
nationals? Because of proximity, or you felt like you had a better chance than going to maybe like this weekend? Our friend is going to Pittsburgh.
So for me, is that you're asking?
Hmm.
Okay, so this is crazy. So originally we had planned to do USA's, which is next weekend in Vegas, and my body just started responding, and we were close to contest. Like, I mean, maybe two pounds off. You know, being another, you got to think USA's is 5 weeks after junior nat. So for me to hold that condition, Dave was like, "Let's just go to junior nats. You're ready." Like, and more opportunity. If you don't get a pro card there, we can, obviously have collegiate, USA's. And it was hard for me because I've always like I had this like goal. I wanted to turn pro at USA's or nationals in December because those are usually the bigger shows, right? And but Chattanooga is like an hour 30 minutes from our house, so it's Dave was like, you can drive there, it'd be cheaper, and they give a pro card for each class winner, so you might as well take advantage of it. And like I said, my body it responded so well. We had a really good off season. I tried to stay, you know, um, tight. I didn't let myself get just plumb out of shape. And I think my body just really responded whenever we started implementing cardio and everything in the diet, like as far as like carb cycling and stuff. It just yeah, we were ready super early, 5 weeks early. So we just went to junior nats and it worked out, you know. So yeah, I would be competing next weekend originally. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's it. It's smart because you know what? You want to take advantage of the situation, especially if you are at the point where I'm peaking. And you don't want to waste it. Say, you know what? Might waste it if I wait all the way till the end of July and go all the way to fly all the way to Nevada, and
Yeah.
then you come up short. Where
Right.
okay, there's a place just down the road. And, it's the country term. Down the road for us is just like next door, before,
Hmm.
but that's how it is. And you took advantage of that situation, and that's a smart strategy. I think that's one thing I think you need to do in the sport is to be strategic, figure out the best time, what should work for you. And you took that whole year off after you got your regional qualification in Tampa.
Yes.
So I think it was just about timing and
Hmm.
again about proximity. So what was that feeling like when they told you you are now an IFBB pro?
Well, it's like it's kind of surreal, I guess, at the moment because you work really hard, to accomplish that. It's a really big accomplishment. Like I had to think on it for a minute because it's still surreal a little bit, but um, I was like super excited, seeing and just the moment of just like feeling like everything finally, you know, came together for me. Like all the years, like I know turning pro with your fourth show is still, you're still very fairly new at the sport, but not a lot of shows. But I did take a lot of time, to grow. Like I would do diet, I would diet, and then I would like diet breaks. I would go into a surplus because, like I said, I'm 5'8". I have, a really big frame to fill out. So it's going to take, for me, the density, the muscle density on my frame, just I need more years under my belt, and it like, you look at some of these, a lot of the pros, they're very seasoned. They've been competing for years, 10 plus years, you know? So this is definitely like timing. Um, and it's a sport that you have to have patience, but no, yeah, like it was amazing feeling, but now you're like, okay, so here we are, we're starting over now because now we're in a big pond, a little fish in a big pond. So yeah.
Yeah, I think once you come from the NPC, you got to start all over in the IFBB. It takes time, and yeah, it's true.
it,
I think some people say this is how somebody told me. Bodybuilding is not like a race; it's a marathon. You want
yep.
to take time to grow, time to develop. If you do things quick, fast, in a hurry, you get burnt out.
Yes.
You might not come in the best shape. You might do something wrong. Things happen in life, and it's best to take your time. Shout out to my man Black Panther sticking in here. He says, Miss Hollie, ignore the haters of your lifestyle. Always be yourself. Also, he says this. He says, women's bodybuilding and women's physique are the greatest in Alabama, USA. Can't forget figure. And this is the last one I'm giving him. He says, George, congratulations on your 6K YouTube subscribers. You are the greatest. Stay strong and God bless. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah,
So,
congratulations. That's awesome.
yeah, it takes some time. I started this about a little 7 years ago. I had a YouTube channel before, but then it got taken down for some certain reasons. Then I started this a little bit later because I was taking care of my mom for a long time. And, it's either know somebody who has a sick family member, it can be, you got to find something that's an outlet. And I knew this gentleman, his name is Coach Sharon Harrison. He does content on combat sports, women in MMA. And he told me, do something that you like. I said, well, I'm a fan of women bodybuilding because you ladies, I got to make my crime, Miss Hollie Joe. I am a muscle person. Y'all ladies excite me, something about y'all, it just brings out the other side of me. I see he creeps out here, but every now he pops in. And
Yeah.
just in interview with you ladies and doing this content, it gives me a purpose and a passion. So, folks, while we got Hollie here, we're going to do this. We'll jump to her social media for a bit. If you want to follow her, her link's in the description. You want to reach out to her and support her and say congratulations. And also, good if, sponsorship does help because, it's a cost to be a bodybuilder. And if you're interested and you have a plan, you have a company, if you're somebody looking for athletes to sponsor, check her out. But guys out there, and I know who you are because I'm like you. I love these muscle women. They get me excited. But don't be weird. She has a boyfriend named Gator. He might do some
Gator.
stuff. He's
We're Southern.
yeah, we do something down here. We do something. We got to do something. We do it.
You would love him. I hope you get to meet him. Are you going to be at Tampa this year?
No, no. Like I said, I'm gonna make my announcement what shows I'm gonna do. I'm not Tampa this year. Maybe a couple of years. Like I said, I'm picking shows
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm going someplace else, and this is an opportunity I want to take a chance at. So, folks who want to follow her, check her out. Follow the links in the description of this live. So we jump into her IG for a bit, and here she is. right here doing some training. Like, what's the thing that you love about your training? The thing you just say, oh shit, I don't want to do it today.
So I'll tell you this. I absolutely love training. Um, that's something, if I didn't compete, I would always train. So you can see in the hashtag Road to USA's. So that was originally the plan. Um, but it's when I go into the gym and I work out, and I know like we own a gym, so you have to really balance that. And people ask me to, and I know I'm kind of going all over the place, but um, if you don't balance it, because when you work in a gym, and you can get burned out because you're always in gym. Then you got to train, and the last thing you want to do after you've been working is to go home, not have to train. Right. So I've learned to balance that. And I love training. It's a big part of my life. Like I said, if I didn't compete, I would always train. Just getting in there and just lifting some heavy ass weight. And for the mental therapy, just the grind, like, I enjoy it. Like Terry and I'm telling you, we would get in there and we get after it. And we also have a lady that is a IFBB pro, Kenya. She's a member at our gym, and she just got second at the Body B1 Classic in Montgomery, almost qualifying for the Masters Olympia. So we have a lot of great competitors at Gator Fitness, and everybody is so inspiring. Like, I look up to her, I look up to Terry, I look up to the ladies that helped me become a better me, a version of me. And there's Liz. She is also going to the Olympia in Fit Model. So she won Toronto Pro. So she's from Huntsville, Alabama. So she's going to be going to the Olympia. So all these ladies just inspire me to be a better me.
Well, here you are with you.
For a record-breaking year, a
Yep.
record-breaking month. What awesome
That's
members that
something
we have here at Gator Fitness. Unbelievable how great the members are. Appreciate your business. I've got a lot of great things happening in 2026 for the members.
After having a fantastic year at Gator Fitness, we want to give away a 1-year free membership at Gator. So make sure to follow our page, like, share, and tag a buddy to win a free year. Happy New Year from Gator Fitness.
Well, that's nice. That's so sweet.
Yeah. So you would love our gym. There's this at Tampa last year, or no, I'm sorry. 2 years. Gator he's actually the pro masters bodybuilder, the masters 60 and the 55. He's won it 2 years, and he also got 6th in the 40s. So he, and so he's a go-getter. He loves it. It's amazing. He inspires me.
That's good that both have inspiration, inspired to do your best. Here's some pictures here, guys, because I know what you guys want to see. Oh yeah, the bourgeois stuff.
I know. That was back after Nationals 2022. You look back at those pictures and it's like amazing seeing how far you've came from there, like.
Yeah, it's evolution of every athlete, and you took some pictures with Sean Nelson. Sean, I've had a guest on my channel. He's a great guy. He's
love Sean.
He's supposed to be up there because I figured he's supposed to be working Miami and maybe doing Tampa as part of his itinerary. And here is this was you doing figure where it looks more like bikini.
I know it. I know. That was back in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, like I said again, the sport has evolved over time. Women have evolved, and with so many new divisions going on. When I first started, I got into it was just the men and the women in bodybuilding. Then fitness came along. Figure came on a little bit after that. Mm-hmm. Bikini was brought in. Then here comes physique. Figure and there's wellness. This is a very popular division. And then I know it fits to your girl. That's what she got her Olympic qualification. Fit model. Excuse me.
That's
I
true.
mean, I have nothing against. I met a lady who just got a pro card at Fit Model when I was at Tampa. Her name is Amy. I met her there at the. She was competing there at the for the regional at the Tim Gardner extravaganza. We met. We said we said cool. I pick on her, about it. She picks on me. I respect what you guys do, but I'm not so much a big fan of division. I feel
Yeah.
like you're bringing in something that's going to end up evolving, looking like the division is supposed to be rebooting. Like you look at physique now, like there was a big controversy with Sarah Bradley when she won Optima, about a month or so ago, and now she's stepping away from physique and going to women's bodybuilding. If you even look at some of the women in the division, like I met Sharonka Hinton, she looks like she's truly the criteria women's physique, but then you see some other women that are competing physique that should maybe go up to women's bodybuilding, or figure competitors should go up to physique, and you even seen some women in even wellness that can probably do either one of those divisions.
Right. That's true. Yes, I know it's involved. Like, and it's hard to say I agree with some of the criteria. Just keeps evolving because you have girls that maybe like don't want to. I love muscle, but I'm saying like it's hard for women us to put muscle on, like, and so we have to take years and years and years and years, and there's kind of like a fine line. It's like are we staying in the criteria? Like if you really think about it, because I mean, look how much figures evolved, in the past 5 years. Like, and I love muscle. I'm all for the girls getting, putting tons of muscle on, but it's for some of us, it's like, do we want to risk losing the feminine part of it? Let's be honest, or in the drugs that some have to take to get there, but I don't know, I know that's not up to me to make the decision, but my opinion, I can't say I agree 100%, with how the criteria. I feel like it's bigger, and I see it now in more divisions. Like, even I was looking at Fit Model, and I'm like, the girls had, vascular abs. I didn't think that was a criteria in Fit Model. Some of these girls were so lean, so I don't know. It's like, it's hard sometimes to figure out where to stay in the criteria, that's why I tell myself just focus on. And Sid always told me this when I would talk to her about it. She would say, don't focus just chasing mass, mass, mass. She was like, just focus on building muscle in the right areas on your physique that helps balance your physique, because you don't want to have so much muscle and figure in your legs and not upper, because it's more of a balance, and so, and keep your waist tight. That's huge. Well, any division, because everything looks bigger with a smaller waist. But yeah, I try to keep that in mind, So
Yeah, like if you look at, I've seen ladies right now. I just saw a show a while back where one woman, she was competing figure, but her waist was too wide, and
yeah,
one lady who just did a show in figures now make move over to women's physique.
yeah,
Um, and with y'all girls in figure, which I'm really learning, because I really started getting to figure a little bit more, because most of my content was about women's bodybuilding, but then women's physique and figure. I've done interviews with ladies in bikini, ladies in fitness, a couple of fit model competitors, and but it's a division where you have to have that nice round boulder shoulders, the small
yes,
tapered waist. You want nice feathering quads. You don't want quads too big, like a nice in between where you're like a smaller physique competitor, but you have more of I would say more of a bikini look in a way, you
hmm
say.
yes, and beautiful lines, the condition, just, and to me, I look at some of these girls and it's amazing, like just seeing how the lines are so beautiful, like in their legs and dug out hamstrings, and like, yeah, I think to me that's just when I'm looking at figure, I'm thinking balance, like shape, like you were saying, the shoulders capped, the tiny waist, the quads not being as big as wellness or bodybuilding, right? Or even women's physique, but more of just bringing those pretty lines and having, a good enough quad sweep, but But yeah, keeping the condition on check and balance. I think that's the key, you know. And some of us women, putting on muscle, it could be hard because you don't want your waist to, extend.
Expand. And also think it's important about femininity because you want to look still presentable. This thing about, especially when you compete, you want to walk that fine line of muscularity and femininity. You want to still have the overall look of that the shredded goddess, but still want to be like, I'm a beautiful goddess. I'm a beauty
There
queen
you go.
too. Yeah, it's a fine line, and this is where, like, when I post stuff, especially on my social media, I have guys making comments. Now, I have two sides. I have the guys who are very complimentary, who are very, pleasant about it, and I have the jackasses and weirdos. I just posted an interview. A lady who I interviewed, her name is Crystal. Crystal just competed at Texas just about a week ago, and she had a situation where she was coming home. She lives in Vegas. She was coming back home. Some guy approached her. And Crystal's not that big of a woman. She's a small, petite lady. She was overweight at one point in her life. She's a mother. She used to be a school teacher. She retired. And she had someone to approach her and make comments to her. I remember interviewing a lady who got her pro card last year. And, before she got pro card, she told me how it's the same thing. Have you ever experienced that experience with somebody where they're like, you have that one guy saying, wow, you're buff. The other guy says, why are you trying to be like a man? You got all those muscles there,
Absolutely. I've had both. So, and usually the men that say that are usually small. They don't have a lot. It's like, are you just jealous because you don't have the muscle? Is what I want to tell them. But I'll be in the store, honey, and I've seen people behind me like whispering, like, and usually I get it from more women, like older women, especially like when you're close to contests, your face is real sunk in, you're depleted, you look insane, right? And they're like you feel like they look at you like you're from another planet. Like I swear, like Terry I'm sure she talked about, like, it's insane. Like, it's like, well, what if we turn the tables and I'm staring at you and whispering about you, regardless if say they're in shape or out of shape. Like, I feel like, this is hard work, what we do. Like, they just think, like you said earlier, you take a pill and you have a ton of muscle, you're shredded to the bone, but that's not the case. Like, you have to eat your meals, you have to train your tail off, you get a lot of disrespect, and from outside sources. And I just learned, you have to ignore that. And I'm sure the more I'm on social media, which I need to be more active on social media, but you'll get comments that'll come. I've had that too. Like, I'm like, they're keyboard warriors, so they're not gonna, it's just, you have to tone it out,
Mm-hmm.
But
it'd be guys who never probably bust the grape. And, and I understand older women, especially, like, honey, I don't know, is she on crack or something? Because she looks so thin. I don't know. And I think the thing is, this is not about you. This is not about them. This is about you. This is something that you found to do. This is your passion. And I know with family and friends, like, they can be supportive, but also, like, traditionally, especially your mother say, baby, I don't want you to get so buff you can't find a man. And then your daddy saying, like, dollar, I don't want you to be so big and bad that, all right, you already got a brother, I don't need another son. That's, and also friends, because you're doing something that sometimes your life changes because you can't go out and go party. Like, I know, like, hey, you got your pro card, let's go party. Say, I gotta go to bed, it's time for the rest, I gotta get up in the morning, I gotta do training, because things change because you get into this sport, it change how you move, how you walk, how you live, how you behave.
Yes, very true. Would you mind if I grab my charger? For some reason, my computer battery went from 50%, and now look up and it's at 6%. So I don't want to.
Go ahead, because that's why it's best always, because I have mine charged whenever I'm sitting here, because it don't take long.
I may have to move the computer right here at the bar stool, would that be a big deal?
That's not a problem. We
I'm
can sit here.
sorry.
So,
I'm sorry, babe.
no apologies, man. Just to do what you need to do. So, folks, she's gonna give us a minute. She's gonna be moving the computer and be all right. Folks, again, if you want to check her out and follow her channel, it's her IG's in the link in the description. And go ahead, because I'm sitting here and talk for a little bit,
Okay.
give you time. So, as you know, this weekend is Chicago Pro. As you know, they're not gonna have women's bodybuilding in the open. The way they have the Masters. Just saw that they updated the list for the Masters. We do have 2 women competing. One lady's competing both the 40 and 45 person who's gonna get her Olympic qualification. Another lady's competing for in 50 and 55. That's the lady who I've interviewed before, my dear friend in love, Miss Shayma Shaka. This is Shayma's return to competitive bodybuilding. She hasn't seen her compete since I think 2023. As you know, she focuses as a wrestler. I also one lady I got to meet also when I was in Tampa, Alex Blankenship. Blankenship. She's going to be competing in 40 plus, where I get her Masters Olympic qualification. Shout out to our dear friend Donna Jones. She's also competing in both most Masters and Open. Yesterday was Donna's birthday. Happy birthday to Donna. So are you ready? Okay. So back to subject again at hand. That's the thing about bodybuilding. You do this for yourself. You don't do it for anybody else. And I say this about this sport, especially for the women, it's a lot tougher because, for women, you have to walk a fine line of masculinity and femininity. And this sport can be a lot, especially mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. Like getting ready for a show, you have to show day for your man, for Gator, all you have to do, put on a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it. Slap on some tan.
Absolutely.
Clean his beard up a little bit. Put a little stuff in his head. He has expenses in prep. Men do have expenses doing prep, but show day is a day where your ladies have to have your hair, your makeup done, your posing suits, your tan. You got to spray on like that glue to keep the suit from riding up. I mean, it's
and our
just
hair and makeup has to be on point, because your appearance, you're getting judged on your overall look. So that's important. Like you spend the money on hair, makeup, and your tan. It's so much more for women. You're right. Like so much more details. But.
Yeah, and so they look haggard and tired, but then when you sit in that makeup and chair, you look like.
I know. Stage makeup is it's a lot.
Yeah, it changes, but that's the thing. This is why I think some ladies love this passion of it. They love it's like be a little girl. If you ever been like a couple ladies who started out doing the pageant stuff, and it's just for them, it's just being like a pageant queen. You get up on the stage, but people got to understand that. The work you got to get there. It's not easy to be disciplined, be consistent. Like, what's feel like the things that help you in your process?
So, I will say this: I'm a very routine person. So, having my day start off very routine, organized, being more organized. Even if it's with the nutrition is, I tell people, the hardest, right? And you need to make sure to have the food prepared at home. Like we have a guy that does all our meal prep. And so he does all of the protein frozen for us, like our fish or chicken or beef. We just thaw it out. So it's so convenient. Lee Street Meals, I'm going to give a shout out to Zach Holt. He's amazing. He's in Athens, Alabama. Well, Rogersville, Alabama. He's a member at Gator Fitness. He also competes. So be on the lookout for him. So having that prepared, I always say, you always want to set yourself up. You don't want to set yourself up for failure, right? So be prepared. Have your meals at home. Have your groceries at home where you don't just get up in the morning, you don't have food, you have to go to the fast food, McDonald's or, and grab breakfast or something and start your day off kind of bad, right? Like with the food. So I think just, staying organized more on top, being more on a schedule. So I get up every morning, I do my cardio. We have a treadmill at home. I think that's important. If you're competing, get some cardio machines at home where you don't have to, time is, is valuable, right? Especially if you're working. We have businesses and we're very busy. So get up in the morning, you got your cardio at home, then you got, that done. You don't have to go to the gym, come back, eat, go back to the gym, So there's a lot of people that would go to the gym 3 or 4 times a day, just get cardio and training. And that's just a lot, isn't it? Like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I would say that, and if you have a significant other, it's important to like Gator does this, so he understands it. So he helps. He also helps with that too, like making sure everything's prepared. And, it would be very hard, I think, if I didn't have somebody that did understand it, it just makes it a little bit easier, not saying that it doesn't work, but, him eating healthy and not having junk in the house, so cookies and stuff around, it does help. But.
Yeah, because that's the thing about food. It can be both a tool and a weapon of progress for a bodybuilder. The right foods help you grow. The wrong foods can stunt your growth. And and one thing I'm a fat man. I love food. I just the other day I had a health assessment because I have insurance where you come out every so often, check on me. When I started this, I was nearly 500 pounds because taking care of my mom, food was it was a stress. Food was very a comfort for me. And then after she passed, I said, you know what, I got to take care of me. So I was going down. I was doing good one time. I had a little setback because I wasn't drinking enough food. So I had a dehydration situation. But last time I went to my doctor, I was at 420. When the nurse weighed me, I'm at 412. And that is awesome. I mean, I'm not going to be perfect because,
congrats.
There's some things that,
like,
yeah.
Wow.
And
good for you, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, because my conversations with you ladies, I learned things. Again, I'm not gonna be perfect because I do falter because there's some things, ma'am, that it's just hard to deny, especially if you like something sweet and so. Like, I'm gonna ask you this, the lovely Miss Hollie, and my other guy will ask you.
Let me tell you, sweetie, I'm from the South, so I like to eat.
Yeah. So Miss Hollie, tell me, especially after that last show, after the Nationals. After the GNATs. What was that thing that was calling you? That thing that make you stranger, but make you stronger.
What was that? Say that again. I'm sorry. It was funny.
What was that thing that you really wanted, especially after Nationals?
Oh man, something sweet. Actually, this is crazy. So, I never thought my metabolism, was fast. Like, I always thought I had a slower metabolism, and ever since I've been with Dave Palumbo, he has figured out my metabolism. If I told you how much food I was eating leading up to the show, you'd probably be like, oh my Lord, how in the world is that girl eating that? Like, we were leaving for Chattanooga and he was like, you look flat, go eat pancakes. And I said, well, how many pancakes? He said, as many as you want. So, and I was having a burger fry like every other day to keep me full. It was wild this year. And last year I ate a lot too, but this year it was insane. So I really wasn't, this is crazy. Like I was eating so much food. Like after the show, I wasn't really hungry. Terry went out to dinner with us. We went to the Mexican restaurant and had grilled chicken and rice, which I felt like was somewhat healthy. The chips, no. But I wanted ice cream and like a cookie, like something sweet because I haven't had that, Yeah, it's interesting how you find a coach though that can learn your metabolism. It's wild, and to me, the science is incredible, like how the body works and how it can respond because everybody's different. Some people have to have 0 carb, leading up to the show, and don't get me wrong. I did days where, I had no carbs. I was like protein fat, I think, at the first you have to, when you first start dieting or cutting, it's a grind. It's a grind throughout the entire prep. But at first you got to get in the routine, right? So I would do like 3 days, no carb, 1 day carb. So I wasn't eating a lot of carbs, but he was having to refeed me, to keep me more full towards the end. But yeah, I would say cookies, ice cream, so anything sweet.
Yeah. So when did you get to meet Dave? Because I know he works with both you and Terry.
So he, Gator got his pro card with Dave at North American back in 2018 in the Masters. And then last year, I was like, I didn't have a coach, and I was like, I don't know if I want a coach, because you can go through a lot of coaches. And I've only ever had one coach, two, and so I'm like, I don't, and I've only done 4 shows, but like I wanted to stay as an athlete with the coach because he learns your body, or she learns your body, and it's good to stay with a coach, not just kind of bounce around. I know sometimes you have to make the decision for yourself and whatever's best for you. But Gator's known Dave for a long time. And so he's more of a personal friend to me too, as well. Like he'll be at Tampa with us. He's going to come hang out. And I got Terry. I referred Dave to Terry for her to use Dave too, because he was really good with me, and I'm thinking, okay, so I felt comfortable with him, and I know she would too. And he's been really good with. She looks awesome. Like it's really benefited her using Dave. I know he's old school, and he's in kind of the podcast world, and so, but he's been a really good coach for me. And I think Terry would feel the same way if you ask her. Like I know she would, but yeah.
That's the thing. It's good to have a relationship with your coach, because a while back I had a discussion where we talked about how sometimes coaches can be too much into the client's life, maybe starting relationships, or I remember right back I reached out to a lady about doing an interview, and she told me, "Oh, let me talk to my coach." I'm like, This is about you. This is not so much. Why you need to talk to your coach? This is just me and you talking. I mean,
right.
We'll talk about the guy, but he's not, And I interviewed one lady. Her boyfriend's a coach, and he sat in the interview for a bit. He talked, and gives all the way they're doing, what they're working with. And that's a good relationship.
Right.
If you both have a mutual love, respect for each other, and understand what is you want to bring in as her the athlete. But yeah, a good coach is pretty good. Dave, I've often, like I said again, my friend Keith worked with him a bit some time ago when he was getting his pro card. And he's been in sport for a long time. I told Terry, I don't know if she sent it to you. There's a video of him. He was on Conan O'Brien years ago, and he's dressed like the Hulk. He says, "Hulk search for love. Hulk need love." Says Hulk makes love angry. You seen it?
I don't think I've seen it.
If I can find it, I'll send it to you.
That is so funny.
It's funny. I saw it because I'm on YouTube, I'm on IG a lot, and it popped my algorithm because he was sponsoring his species, because I know y'all also promote his species products too.
We do sell his products in our gym, and they're lime green, and our color is lime green, so it's perfect. Like I love his product. I'm very I know he's my coach, and not just because of that, but I would take his product. Actually, I've been taking his product before he coached me. So I always used like his Fiberlize, and a lot of his Isolyze, the protein powders. It's really good ingredients. It's not a lot of additives in there, I digest it well, Now, it's not for everybody, I know, but I always say just give it a try. I recommend his product, though, because there's a lot on the market, and some of it is not good for you. Some of these protein companies, so you have to be very mindful, so, yep.
Yeah, because you got to be careful, because you don't want to take anything that might can harm you,
yes.
Especially your progress, as you develop as a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
People don't think bodybuilders are very intelligent because we just big muscles all the time. But you have to be smart, because understand your diet, macros, training, what to eat, what is essential to your progress, what can harm you. There's so much involved in it, because again, we go back to the outside, the people who look at it. Like I saw a video where a young lady talked about how people sexualize it, but that's us. Like for us guys who go to shows, we see these big puff dudes and these women in these little keep your little outfits all ripped and shredded, and y'all just kind of cite us. But we don't understand what it took you to get there, the diet, the
Yes.
training, sometimes going through dehydration, getting angry, hungry. I interviewed a lady who was at Toronto, and she said it was tough because it was like crazy how long it took for them to do the show, because you're going through some points where you don't want to miss your peak. There's so much involved with it, from the
Yes.
diet, the training, everything else. Like, what are you coaching people, or you just do lifestyle training too?
So I usually, okay, so before we got our Alabama show, we took on this back in like January, February. So it kind of threw a lot at me, because promoting a show, and you've been to shows, so too, like how much goes into it, like with sponsorships and just getting everything ready for the athletes. And as an athlete, I want to make sure the athletes are taken care of. And we, like Tim Gardner, and like we went and spent some time with Tim Gardner. We love him and his wife Elaine, but like I love how he promotes his shows for his athletes. And as a promoter, I'm like, I want to do that. So I put a lot of time into this now, and I had to cut back a little bit on the training one-on-one in the gym. And we live in Huntsville, so it's an hour and a half to our gym. Like Gator and I are both from that area where the gym is, but you got to think that's still a pretty good drive. So I only go in twice a week to the gym, and I work from home the rest of the time. But I still do like nutrition online for lifestyle. I do have two guys I'm helping in our show, just guiding them for the show. They're just friends, so it's not, we kind of just do it for fun, So yes, I do that. But I have real estate too. I've got rental property in my houses that I do for myself. So we got a lot going on. It's just I love one-on-one training. I just wish I had the time right now to do that, and maybe I will after the Alabama show's done. So we'll see. But I told Terry she needs to start training. Like when she retires, that'd be good for her, extra income. And it's amazing too. Like you can make really good money. You get your client base up, and so yeah, I enjoy it though.
Hmm. Yeah, especially like Alabama, where, as you know, in the South traditionally we're not as fitness gold as most other
Yes.
places, but I think it's starting to grow a bit. It takes
Yeah.
time. You got to learn to get out of your own way too. And
Yep.
like what I did in my situation, I had to learn to, I still do things that I shouldn't do, but I try to change it. Like I don't fry. I did have a little fried chicken the other day, but I did it in a way where I used flour. I used mashed potatoes, because that's good as a replacement over flour, because you don't have too much gluten in it. The mashed potato powder. I eat a little more broccoli. Try to drink more water. I try to cut,
Yes.
because I'm pre-diabetic also. I try to cut down my sugars, but I'm not going to be perfect on that either, because sugar is just something. It's like crack. It's addictive.
It
And
is though. It
yeah.
really. I mean, it is. And when you have it, I feel like it makes you want more. It's like it's like it makes you. It can spiral a little bit to want more and more and more. I love bread. Like I'm a bread person. I when we go out to eat, I'm the girl. Now I can eat. Now I can eat. I got a big appetite. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say I can eat, because I am from the South. I'm a Southern girl, and everything revolves around food. Parties, Christmas. I mean, it's all it's comfort. That's how I grew up. My grandmother spaghetti. On the table, spaghetti and bread, right? Garlic bread. So I love to eat. That's something I have to work on too in the off season. Like I'll enjoy food, and that takes time. Like reversing out of a show, I felt, like this year is my best reverse, because I would come out of shows, and it's easy to gain 15 to 30 pounds. And a lot of that's water. You have to you have to stay on your plan, but I have to work on that too. I love bread. Me and Terry were laughing. She was like, that's her thing too, is bread. She's like, I love breakfast food. That's a big, I love toast. And you can eat like sourdough's good, have two slices of sour. You just have to it's the portion control is what you have to watch. I think people like, you can have that. Just make sure you're not eating 6 slices of bread, instead of 2, right? So yeah, it's all portion.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. Last time I had pancakes was it was Father's Day weekend, and my sister and my niece had something for my nephews, and they're because my oldest nephew, my youngest nephew, they got kids, and I was there. And my nephew says, "Happy Father's Day." I'm not a daddy. I got no kids, but I just want to tell you because you know what, because we grew up like brothers, me and him, and and I had like some pancakes, and it's been a long time since I had pancakes. I used to cook them for my mom in the morning. I get the kind
I
you get a
love
vibe. You put them
pancakes.
in, you put them in the microwave, heat them up. We eat breakfast together. I don't eat breakfast much anymore. I might have some water. I work out a couple of times out of the week, because I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I can't always jump up and move like I used to, and also I have a pacemaker. I had it for quite some time, and I try to be smart when I work out and train because you guess this one thing. You have to be understanding what it is when you start to work out. Understand what's the factors like when you get to critique from the judges. What do they tell you need to work on the most overall in your physique?
So I sent Sandy my pictures because the line was after junior nights, everybody's wanting feedback. So it was, and when you're done with the show, I'm ready to go eat and enjoy, time with family and get out of there. Right. So I emailed her and I just recently got my feedback, and she was telling me, she said she was very pleased with my condition. She didn't think I needed to be any more tighter she was like, the condition was spot on. I have a big frame to fill out. So she was like, I need more depth in my mid back. I've got the width, and I used to swim when I was younger, so I was on the swim team. I did everything. It was, so she was like, really work on that depth of your mid back. And I think that's just like muscle maturity. Like, I haven't been doing this long, and it's just going to take more years to actually let the muscle sit on the frame, and just kind of develop that, and maybe like learn to connect more mind to muscle. I still it's hard for me to connect in that area on my back. And so that's something I'm going to work on. And she, she said shoulders were plenty big enough. Arms, she was like, you just need more hamstring and quad sweep. So really work on those 2. And so that's what I'm going to focus on. And she was like, with you, it's just time. You like having that frame, 5'8's a tall girl. And so I was 152 pounds on stage, and we were pretty lean. So that's not a small girl, but I really need to be probably 155, 160, to fill my frame out, without losing. And keep this in mind, not losing the feminine look or letting your waist,
Go out.
Yes. So it's just going to take time. This is something that's not going to happen overnight. So I'm going to have to, and she said, she's like, compete more. Like, I'm still so new, 4 shows. She was like, you're a baby still in the sport. You need to just compete more, and get on stage more. And so that's the goal, is to take rest of this year, like to really focus on my mid back, because when I do my pro debut, I want it to be something that I can be competitive, and I want a first call out is my goal. But, so my goal is Chicago Pro next year, and then Tampa. So those are big shows. So they're huge. So my goal is first call out. So that's what I'm going to be working towards. I've been working 4 weeks now post show since I got off stage. Like, this is what we got to do, So that's the plans. We thought about Puerto Rico. I've never been to Puerto Rico, but I thought about doing Puerto Rico Pro, like hitting 3 of 10 shows next year, but I don't know when Puerto Rico is.
Well, if it was like for this year, they had it in April. It was like the week after the Triple O Dynasty.
Okay.
That's possibly a good show. Or also, since you are over the mature age, there's the Max Fit. That is a show.
Yes.
Also, there's, you're not too far from it, there's the Texas Pro.
Yes.
That's also a possibility. There's quite a few shows, especially for the figure division. There's more opportunities for it than compared to the other divisions like women's bodybuilding or physique. I mean, it's just about timing where you are at in your prep. You know, you want to be, again, you want to be smart and strategic. You want to, I think that's one thing that everybody wants to achieve, that the opportunity to go to the big shows at the Olympia. If not, there's the Master Olympia. I mean,
Right.
it's just about the right time, the right show.
Right. Absolutely. And, we went back and forth about actually doing Tampa, me doing Tampa this year, but I was just like, I would feel more comfortable taking one more, off season and really developing a little bit more. And cause like I said, those are huge shows, Olympians are going to be there, and I know you got to get your feet wet and it's time you got to get on stage. And that's what I was telling, Gator actually earlier. I said, this is something that my goal is a first call out. Like, I want to be competitive and I want to bring a look I'm proud of, so I've been dieting since the end of February, so I've been in a deficit a long time, and you got to look at your health. That's important. And, you got to also look at, we got our show coming up in 5 weeks, and I'm, just so busy. And it is an opportunity though. I could do a show later this year that is still in the open. I mean, we say Chicago next year, but you could do one later this year, to qualify.
Well, we know Tim has 2 shows, and that's he has the Atlantic Coast and the
Yes.
Hurricane. You can do, if you feel like it, you can do either one of those shows, because that's right there in Florida. That'd be a great show, just to get your feet wet and
Right.
see and get the experience of it. We got here my man Brown Baldy in the comments. He says, Alabama in the house. Hey man, thank you for coming through, brother. But yeah, I think again, there's a lot more opportunity, especially post after the Olympia season. That the shows there. Just whatever you feel like you're ready for, and you want to take the opportunity just to get the feeling of what it is to compete in the pro level. Because again, you're starting from the bottom and try to get yourself to the top.
Yes, this is a different. Now we with the big girl. Not saying the amateurs weren't big girls, but now you really with the seasoned, seasoned girls that's been competing for 10 plus years, some of them, and it's and the posing, that's something I need to work on too and get more comfortable, because when you turn pro, you have longer time on stage. As an amateur, you just get on stage, hit your poses, and get off. As a pro, you're going to be on stage. They give you a minute or something like that to do your routine. So I want to work more on my posing, and that is huge too. That can make or break you at any level, so I just need more stage time, I mean, 4 shows, like I said, it's not many really. So I need to compete more, so like you said, get my feet wet. And Hurricane, is that one in October and November? It's usually late, kind of.
I think Hurricane is like about the end of October, mid-October, and Atlantic is right about the first of. If I get a chance, I'll send you the because they have NPC News have the link for the shows when they're coming up.
Okay.
If I get a chance, when we finish the interview, I'll go on. I'll send you they have a link for which each divisions and what shows they have, and I'll send you that link. You can check it out. You can go through and see what shows you feel like you want to take your first test. Because I know quite a few ladies who get their pro card and then they may not make their debut for another year or 2. I met one lady who was in Tampa. Her name was April. She made her pro debut last year, and she did both Tampa and the Atlantic Coast. She had competed since 2014 when she got a pro card.
Wow.
And I know some ladies who got the pro card and then.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Some are fine turning pro and being done, and then some turn pro and it's like, the next week or 2, they're hitting a pro show, and, it's timing and that too. It's all who shows up, and it's timing. It is. And you just never know, and you won't know until you get on stage, but you want to make sure your health, that's important. Like I said, when you've been dieting since the end of February, we started first week in March. We went to the Arnold. That's when I started dieting. So I've been dieting for quite a while now, so It would be nice to like have a little downtime, and maybe if my physique looks good, we could hit a show later this year. So that's still October's a good, we got plenty of time, or November, so that's options. So we will see, how everything pans out with our show and everything. So
That's something you, Terry, and David talk over and figure it
yeah.
out. We have a comment shot to my man, Brown Bowley. He says this, congratulations to Holly on getting her pro card, and George in 6,000 subscribers. Thank you, brother. So
Thank you.
we're not going to hold her much longer. We do appreciate the opportunity to have her on here. Again, congratulations on getting a pro card.
Thank you so
Also,
much.
congratulations to our friend, the lovely Miss Terry, who's competing today and
Tomorrow
tomorrow.
morning
Tomorrow. Yeah, I think they
tomorrow
did
at 8 o'clock.
I think they did the. I think he did the. I think he did some. I think the men's class was yesterday, I believe.
Uh-huh.
I think it might be the other divisions, and then the women's bodybuilding is going to be on Friday.
Yeah, and she'll go out first because she women's bodybuilding goes first. So I'm gonna get up and try to live stream the show. I know 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock her time. So make sure I'm up, my cardio's done. So and watch her. But yes, very excited. Dave is actually at the show, so that's good. He's there to help peak her, bring her in. He had other athletes too competing, so.
Well, I know she probably wish she were there, see her there. I hope she does get pro card, especially especially in the women's body division. We can use more bodies. It's been a struggle. Shout out to Anastasia Ryder, who did the GoFundMe to try to keep it at Tampa. Shout out to other ladies who, like my friend Eunice, who runs Bad Rap. Her and JoJo, they are sponsoring women's bodybuilding at Atlanta Pro this year. I was thinking about going to Atlanta, but like I said, I got my oldest niece lives in Atlanta. I can stay with her and save me the cost of getting a motel room, and she can come pick me up. I mean, one time when I went to Savannah back in 2022, I missed my train back home, and she lived in Atlanta. She came about 3 hours away, get her old uncle and take him back home. Her old uncle. I appreciate my niece Marlena. Shout out to her. She served our country. I always appreciate that. And yeah, I would say take your time. Don't rush it. Just if you feel like you want to jump in this year before the year is out, that's good. If you feel like you want to take more time and jump on later next year, that's good. This sport is about understanding the balance of what is you want to bring yourself as a bodybuilder, understanding your growth, understanding your discipline, your determination, your consistency. Again, people look at it as just you take a bunch of special pills and you get all big and ripped, but there's more to it.
Absolutely more to it. Yes, you're 100% right. It's a lot of work, and I admire all the ladies that do this, and the men. So yeah, it's not an easy sport. It's a lot of dedication, a lot of time, commitment. And that's why a lot of these women are inspirations because I know too, like what it takes. It's not easy. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. I got saying that it may not be the 80s, but I'm down with the ladies.
There you go. I may be at Atlanta too. We don't live but 3 hours from Atlanta. So we have a guy out of our gym, Philip Denton, IFBB Pro. He is doing his pro debut in Classic at Atlanta. So maybe go support him. Maybe try to make it to the show. So
maybe get to talk to Linda, check,
yes,
because she's been promoted for a long time. At one point, she had 3 shows. She had Savannah, she had Atlanta, and she also had a show in Norfolk. And they were a couple of shows were IV and PC shows. I think that'd be great for you and Gator to get a feedback for a person who's been in the game longer hand and maybe get some,
absolutely.
Because this is, especially Alabama, it's starting to become a growing, thing in bodybuilding. Like I've done interviews with ladies. I did an interview with a lady who lives in Croatia, just a couple of days ago. Women from South America to Canada to Europe. One lady from South Africa. One lady in Australia. A couple ladies in Australia. And bodybuilding, even though it's a very fringe, small sport, it's not as popular. It used to be on television like ESPN and other networks just carry, but now you got watch it on live stream, man. Like you can watch cornhole on ESPN or darts, but it's a growing community, I would say. There's other organizations. I've interviewed from PCA to OCB.
Yes. Yes.
It's a sport that it's been around for a long time, but again, it's always going to get that evil eye at it because of the use of steroids. But you see it in other sports, but no one talks about when baseball players or football players or basketball players, or even I did content on MMA, when MMA fighters get busted for taking PEDs, they get a little more leeway because this sport's about performance, where Bobby is
Right.
more sports and presentation.
Absolutely. It's true. It is true. Like, I wish that was something that could, you know, like this sport could get a better rap. I don't know. It's just always, I think people that are not in it, it's hard for a lot to understand, like how the sport, how this all works and everything. And they just think you just take a pill, right? And you look like Arnold and that, or the Hulk, right? And it's not that. That's not the case. But yeah, it's kind of silly that some really do think that, though, huh? Like, I don't know. But
What's the is when people assume they make an ass out of themselves than you. So
that's true.
yeah,
What my
it's just
grandmother always said.
yeah. See, that's the thing. That's how some people work. We think differently from
Yeah.
everybody else. We got a comment from my man Ball Bottom. Maybe second put my old man glasses on. He says this. Shatin says, "Don't get me started on dart throwing and cornhole. It's ridiculous. They get paid more than female bodybuilders." Yeah, and I say like this. I wish it was where you can make a living off of it, where you don't have to work this job or that job or do this, do that to pay your competition, to pay your training, to pay your prep. I mean, I wish it's like a sport where you can make a living off of it. But only ones who do make a good amount from it is the guys in the higher end. It's because I say like this: the men open divisions, like if you know the pimping game, they're the bottom bitch. You're always making money for daddy. But I wish there was a lot more, like especially sponsorship. Like I know you've been sponsored before. You ever interested in working with a sponsor?
I have. I've never been actually in bodybuilding. I've never had a sponsorship. No, not yet. I would love that. I need to personally. I need to work on my social media. I need to be more active. When sponsorships come from, they look at your social media, how you're engaging, and I need to. That's something I've told myself that I'm gonna get better at, make time for. We were doing a lot of video in this off season, and I just got so busy. I just kind of put it on the back burner. And my social media was growing, and I just kind of, So you got to keep engaging and with your audience, and not care what all the nice the people that are there you go are irrelevant, because you're going to have some negative comments. We already talked about that, female bodybuilding. So I would love to be sponsored, by a really good company. Maybe that's something I know you don't see a lot of in female bodybuilding, female in general. It's more male, but I am seeing a little bit more though now. I feel like sponsorship opportunities. I don't know. It's more male dominant though, I feel. Maybe that'll change. Like I said, I do feel like it's more companies coming on board now offering athletes, endorsements. So in the female divisions, I have noticed that. So that's awesome to see, like clothing companies. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, my friend Eunice has, and they sponsor some athletes, mostly focused on women. She's got a lady who's a bikini competitor who's going to be competing in USA's in a couple of weeks. Even work with some people like Sherry Piami.
Yeah.
One lady who I know, she's going to be at Tampa's Melly Horton. She's a friend of mine. I think it's just finding that right company that fits what you want. Like, here's the thing is, if I can do this myself, I say, Mrs. Hines, we are interested in you, your story about your life, your history. You are now IFBB Pro. So if you feel like our product works in your process, it's something that you can use and something that you feel like is a way to make you, more of a better athlete, we would like to sponsor you if we can. If you feel like, this is a good relationship for both of us, then I hope that we can set something up in the future. So, ma'am, let us know if this is something that interests you and interests us, and then we can see how things work out. So that's what I wish I could do. I wish I could do that.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome because
Yeah.
we know this sport is very expensive. You know, it's a lot of money, and we've been blessed, Gator and I, like in business and everything, but like, you know, it would be hard if we weren't, we didn't have the funds to, compete, like you would have to, and some people make it happen, right? Like they put stuff off to be able to afford, competing. But yeah, I mean, you got to think junior nights, it was over $300 for one class. If you did 2 or 3 classes to register, you're looking at what, almost $900 or so. Like, that's crazy. Like, it's very expensive, and that's not including hair, makeup, your tan, your travel expense. So yeah, it's very expensive. Very.
Yeah. Shout out to my man Brown Ball. He says this. He says, give me a second. He's coming up. Wait a minute. I just thought I clicked it. He says this. He says, Hollie has earned a new subscriber. Thank you, brother. She appreciates it. All of them count. And also he says this. Give me a second. I thought I tapped it. He says, the main haters who don't like bodybuilding have never set foot in a gym. Respect to the athletes and this sport. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that seems. I learned this. This from a fake comedian, Bernie Mac says, "Boy, people are not gonna like you. Fuck them. That's all you can do." And and as fans, we are supportive of y'all ladies. Like I said, I'm planning on going to a show because I want to be out there more, to be able to connect. Because it was a great opportunity for myself when I went to Tampa and Savannah, and now I'm going to a show in a month or so, and also to see what takes for y'all athlete, what drives you, what inspires you, what makes you do this sport, which there's not a lot of opportunities financially, not much there recognition. It's a sport where my man said like this: sometimes you steal from Peter to pay Paul, but still. From my conversation with some of you ladies, quite a few ladies, you do it because this is your passion. You love doing it. You love seeing how your body grows. You love seeing how you develop. You love just being the best you can in whatever you do. I mean, we go to shows, we see our competitors, we cheer when you're happy for you. Your man, he's in the audience, say, "Yes, my girl." And then some guy says, "Who's that tall blonde drink of water?" Hey, shut up, that's my girl.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good that you have people like Terry and your fiance Gator and friends and family that support you, because sometimes, especially when it comes to friends and family, they may not understand it. But the thing is, it's not about you understanding. This is about something that you love and you want to do. If you can be supportive, that's good. If not, then hey, that's on you.
Absolutely. And who you surround yourself with it's everything, anything in life, business. You want to surround yourself with like-minded, people and successful people, because it makes you want to be successful or helps you be successful, and your corner's huge, like the surroundings. Terry and I were talking about that, like, it'd be hard for both of us, if we didn't have the support, like it does. Who's in your corner it matters a lot, especially in this sport. This sport's very, it can be lonely at times. You got to have somebody that helps, that's there, that's like, you can do this, you got this. Or, hey, come train, where are you at, you're not quitting, you don't want to go to the gym, get your butt in the gym, so you need that motivation. But yeah,
the quote, the great Rocky Balboa, "It's not about how hard you can hit, it's how hard you can take the hits and keep moving forward. How you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done." Hey, yo, shout out to my man Brown Baldy. He says this. He says, the women definitely need more sponsorship. They do. If you are someone out there who's interested in sponsoring a lady, be it she's NPC, be it she's IFBB, if she's somebody that you see that has potential to grow as an athlete, if you have a plan, and guys, it can't be this thing like, "Yeah, I saw that girl at the show, she said," no, you sick freak. Be somebody very professional, be understanding, and also be willing and open to help this person gain what they want out of this sport. And in return, you see an athlete really reach their goal and their pinnacle. So, man, we're not going to hold you much longer. I'm asking you this: what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding?
Ooh, that is a good question. Put me on the spot. For me, I would, of course, I would love to be on the Olympia stage. I think that's every girl's dream, right? When you maybe not at first, but then you start seeing everything kind of come like, oh, well, okay, I won an amateur overall. Oh, well, I got my pro card. So, hey, it could happen, right? Like, but I would love to go as far as I could, as long as like my health and everything stays 100% and staying feminine is important to me and staying true to myself, to who I am. You always want to be somebody too, like, that can look up to you, right? And be a good ambassador for the sport and share your story. And I feel like all the women in the sport are lovely though, that I've spoke to, and very inspirational and inspiring. So, that would be awesome. Olympia stage, that's a goal. I got to work my butt off. So I know that's everybody obviously has to, but maybe that dream can become a reality. I don't know, that'd be awesome. Or it will first to win a pro show, right, and go to Olympia. That would be, but my goal is first call out for my first pro show. I would be super ecstatic with that.
Well, that's everybody's goal, is to either get on the Olympic stage or just to be able to make their pro debut. Again, this is not a race, it's a marathon. Take that time, work on the things you need to work on, make those improvements, and then when you feel like you're ready, bring your best self. And then even though you may not have gotten that Olympic qualification, but you brought your best self and you're proud of that. I think you should be proud of whatever you do, because again, this is a sport where not everybody has that same mentality that's what to do. And to do the sport, you just really have to put in the effort. If you're not willing to put in the effort, don't do it. Stay home, eat bonbons, and watch Jerry Springer. So, folks. So anyway, folks, we're not gonna hold much longer. You have anybody want to shout out before we let you go?
Well, thank you to everyone. For if you're tuning in and listening, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very greatly appreciated. It's my first interview, so thank you. I'm very grateful. Thank you. And keep going. I tell all the girls, never give up. Just keep going.
Well, ma'am, I appreciate the opportunity to have you on. As I myself, a Southern gentleman, I love having a Southern lady on here and talking with her, and it's a great, just to hear y'all ladies and to, and the thank yous. As you know, one of my favorite movies is Batman Begins. At the end of it, where Jim Gordon says to Batman, says, "I never got a chance to thank you." And Batman turns around and says, "You never have to." Again, this is my person. This is my passion. The one person how I truly love in this world, she's been gone for quite some time. And this is something that keeps me going. And hearing your ladies and share your stories, and also maybe open people's mind to this. Not all y'all just these big buff raging monsters. Y'all lovely ladies. She's nice and polite. She's nice right here. She, really good. She looks really buff, guys. So be respectful. She has a big boyfriend, but really want people to understand what it takes to be an athlete of sport, being a man or a woman. And also, I think women, it's gonna be like, again, I grew up with 3 sisters. My mother, I worked in textiles with women. I worked in the gentleman's club with women. It takes a lot to be a woman in this world. And men, our purpose in life is to build, battle, and to breed. That's it. And we die. But y'all women, y'all the ones who keep us going. Y'all are our mothers, y'all our sisters, y'all wives, y'all girlfriends. Y'all the people who motivate us to get up in the morning and do what we need to do. And that thing is, there's that song, Louis Sanford. You may not be a lady, but you're all woman.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
So, folks, I want to thank my man Brown Baldy for coming through. Shout out to my man Black Panther. Anybody who watched this video, follow, subscribe. For people, tomorrow we'll be starting the Chicago Pro. Check out that show. I'm not watching it. I'm trying to save some money for a trip. I just paid my light bill, my rent this month, so I'm about broke. And if you are someone interested in supporting, Hollie in her upcoming pro debut, reach out and genuine interest. I know she's blonde and buff, guys, but be respectful. You get more with sugar than you do with vinegar. And if you use and guys, come on, you can't. Don't be saying like some weird stuff. Say click. Yeah, I'm sitting there. No, you sick freak. And don't be a
Thank you.
hater. Be a congratulator. So, anyway,
Thank you.
no, ma'am, thank you. I appreciate it. And best of luck to you. And also best of luck
Thank
to Gator and his upcoming show.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you around soon.
I hope so too. All right, folks, I hope you enjoy the rest of the week. It's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Enjoy this upcoming weekend. This is your man, all the way, George. You got a bicep pose, you're sick freaks. There you go. You got a bicep pose, you're sick freaks. So put on your lotion, your tissue. There you go. So, hey, folks, thank you, Jamel Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Vitamin Talk. Don't like, subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.